All right, guys, for today's lesson, you need this sphere sheet, sphere missing measure. So today we're going to talk about finding the missing measure in a sphere, and there's really only one thing you can find, the radius, or the diameter, I guess you could find as well. But remember, we need to start off, first we need to know how the formula relates to the problem. So the formula, again, is 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. Okay, so if you look at number one, I see it gives me the volume, V equals. So I'm going to write that down, 268.1 equals. And then I just take these pieces from that formula and write those down, 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. We don't know what the radius is, so that's what we're trying to solve. So like previously, when you want to isolate something here, we're going to divide by those two pieces right here. And I got to come over here and divide that as well. So the 4/3 over the 4/3 cancels. Pi over pi cancels. All right, now on my calculator, we're going to go ahead and type in 268.1. Divide by, let's use our parentheses, so opening parentheses, 4 and fraction key, ABC 3, and then times pi, closing parentheses. And you see what we get there? We get to about 64.004. At this case, because we're using the pi key, you're going to get something, kind of a weird long decimal. But I want you guys to just take to the nearest whole number. So at this point, it'd be 64.004. We're just going to say 64 equals r cubed. Now, that's not radius. That's my radius times radius times radius. So I need to figure out what is just one radius, not radius times radius times radius. And again, what we can do is we want to take the cubed root to get r, which is the opposite of r cubed. And then I come over here and do the cubed root. Okay, so then when I type it in my calculator, remember, you got to hit the 3 that represents the cube. And it's not the square root. This time it's that x root. So we hit second, and then our caret key to get that x root. And then you type 64 equals 4. Again, that was one of your perfect cube flashcards that we made. So maybe you should have that memorized. So r is now, I almost wrote 64. R is just 4. We need to put a correct label on that. In this case, we're talking about feet cubed, but a radius can't be cubed. A radius can't be squared. It's just one dimension. So we just say 4 feet. So my radius is 4 feet. Okay, let's go to number 2. So I'm going to set it up, rewrite that number, 7,238.2 equals 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. Again, I'm going to divide by the 4/3 and divide by the pi. Come over to the left side, divide by the 4/3 and divide by the pi. Okay, so now I'm ready to do some canceling. You're left with r cubed. Okay, and then I'm going to take that 7,238.2 divided by opening parentheses 4 ABC 3 times pi, closing parentheses, equals. All right, now don't forget that we do want to round the nearest whole number, so we got 1,727.99. So I'm going to say r cubed is equal to 1,728. All right, now we know that's r cubed, but I want just the one r, so I'm going to do the cube root. Come over here, do cube root. Out comes r, and then I'm going to do 3. Second, x root 1,728, and then we get 12. So r is equal to 12. Put my label on that. That's going to be inches. All right. The rest of the problems are all going to be solved the exact same way. So there's really no variation when you solve for spheres. Again, you're only finding one dimension. Okay, so let's go ahead now and solve number 3. You are solving for the radius. Okay, number 4, it is pointing to the entire arrow, therefore you're solving for the diameter. Remember, the diameter is your radius answer times 2. Okay, number 5, solving for the radius. Number 6, again, it's pointing to the whole entire line across through the center, so we're going to solve for the diameter. 7, solving for diameter. 8, solving for diameter. 9, it's the radius. 10, diameter. 11, diameter. 12, diameter. 13 is our diameter. And last 14, also a diameter.